Let's talk about reputation real quick. Let's move to a little bit of basketball. Let's talk about reputation. Your reputation, what? Your reputation follows you and your reputation can change. I mean, it's really a lot of people's reputation it comes from past experiences. So the Nets played the Philadelphia 76ers, which was one of the most hyped up games after the James Harden trade that sent Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond to Brooklyn. And of course, the 76ers got James Harden. Since then, they were 5-0. James Harden looked great, along with Joel Embiid. People were saying that it's the next Kobe and Shaq. Yeah. But James Harden has a reputation. And this is why I'm talking about reputation. James Harden has a reputation, and it's not a good one. James Harden is one of the best offensive players the NBA has ever seen. It is a small list of players. Well, he is in a small list of players of greatest something. James Harden is arguably one of the greatest offensive weapons the league has ever seen. That's like a Curry or a Michael Jordan or Kevin Durant or a Kobe. James Harden, his ability to create a shot, his ability to create fouls belongs on that list. Not saying that he's better than all of them, but he belongs on that greatness list. But that doesn't mean that his reputation doesn't not follow him. And because I feel like I'm beating around the bush at this point. What do I mean by that? James Harden's reputation is, while he is arguably one of the greatest offensive weapons in the league and the league has ever seen, his reputation is he comes up small in big games. Whether that's playoff games, we remember when was it 2017 when they should have beat Golden State. Chris Paul went out, but even with Chris Paul going out, James Harden kind of shrunk. Or was it 2016 when they lost? They got beat by 30 points to the Spurs, I believe. And the Spurs didn't have Kawhi Leonard or Tony Parker playing. A lot of people want to bag on Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant for their collapse, in 2012 in the NBA Finals. But a lot of that was James Harden. Now, I'm not all blaming James Harden, but a lot of it was James Harden. And then we go to the game on Thursday night. Now, yes, it's a regular season game, but this is a big game. You're going against one of the top, or arguably one of the top teams in the league in Brooklyn. Definitely some of the top players, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, former players. You're going, the hype is there. There's a reason why this game was on TNT, one of the marquee games. And you come up, I think he had 11 points. Now he did finish, he's now third all time in 3-pointers made, passing Reggie Miller. So congratulations to that. But I think he went 3 for 15, 11 points because his 3 made field goals were threes, and then of course he had a foul. But yet again, in another situation, he shrunk. The only way that you can change your reputation is if you change it. Is if you do something different, if you start developing a pattern of something different. But that's the only way that you can change your reputation. James Harden probably don't care. It is what it is. I know he ain't listened to this, but I'm not just making this up. You can go back almost every time they've lost. I mean, What was it? 2018, I believe. I think that's the year that Toronto won. Kevin Durant went out. And you have Golden. That's your time for that's your time to beat Golden State. Kevin Durant went out, and you can't do it. Oh, I think they were up too, and they just needed to beat them twice, and they lost both times. And I think Game 7 was on their home floor or something like that. All I'm saying, man, is James Harden has developed a reputation of shrinking in small games. While, yes, he's still considered one of the greatest offensive players that the league has ever seen, he also has a reputation of shrinking in small games. And Thursday's game against against the Sixers, against the Nets, is another prime example. Now, yes, it's a regular season game, but he has shown a record of doing this in the playoffs as well, which is why a lot of people were saying when James Harden got traded to the Nets, it's nothing going to be the same. Like, he's played with great players. He's played with Kevin Durant. He's played with Russell Westbrook. He's played with Kyrie Irving. He played with Russell Westbrook twice. He played with Chris Paul. He's played with Dwight Howard, who was slightly out of his prime, still a very good player at the time. And still nothing. So James Harden's still going to be James Harden. James Harden's still great. Hell, next time you hear this, James Harden can go for 60 points because that's just who James Harden is. But until, I'm not going to say he wins the championship, but until he comes up big in a playoff moments, or in big moments in big games, he comes up big. Because let's be clear here. I don't like to put losses on one player unless like you have a moment where the player just does something stupid like the J.R. Smith thing. While a lot of people talk about J.R. Smith, where J.R. Smith was a big reason in that loss in the finals when Cleveland was playing Golden State, George Hill was also huge in that loss because George Hill missed the freaking free throw. Make your free throws. But I don't even remember what I was talking about. I don't remember that last point. Oh, yes. Thursday's loss was mainly on James Harden. The Philadelphia 76ers, the Nets beat the dog. I think they beat them like 29. They were up by 36 at one point. The Nets were, and they beat them by 29. But that loss is on James Harden. Because James Harden and Joel Embiid, of course, their two best players, have to set the tone. They have to set the tone because you have a young team and you have a team that follows you too. You have to set the tone. Joel Embiid was playing incredible. I mean, Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid were jawing back and forth. Andre Drummond, their bodies were getting thrown left and right with him and Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid came to play. Who, by the way, is a front-running MVP. Him and Jokic, in my opinion. I would choose Jokic, but yeah. But James Harden, I think when I looked up, it was quick too. When I looked up, he was like 1 for 10. I'm like, damn. Like, Jesus. I think this was like the first or second quarter too. So now Joel Embiid feels like he's doing it himself, which he pretty much is. Tobias Harris is actually having a good game, but outside of that, they need their second superstar, which is James Harden, and he didn't show up. So I do put that loss on him. But until James Harden does something different in big moments, he will have that reputation of somebody that's an uberly talented, incredible player, a top 50, NBA 75, top 75 player ever, and rightfully so. but shrinks in big moments, especially when his team needs him the most, and especially when all you need to do, like a lot of these moments, you're up, you're you're playing against the Spurs, man, and their two best players, or two of their 4 best players at the time, are not playing, and Kawhi Leonard, who is their best player, and Tony Parker, and you lose that one. Yes, you lose Chris Paul, who is big, but you're up 3-2 against Golden State, meaning Golden State has to win 2 more games. You just have to win 1, and Game 7 is on your home floor. Yes, you lose Kevin. Yes, you lose James Harden. Yes, you lose Chris Paul, but you still have James. You're still James Harden, and you lose that. And then this is arguably the biggest game of the year because of the trade, and you crap the bed. So until James Harden shows up in big moments,